Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And I have just finished listening to Doctor Who 40, starring Peter Davison, Janet Field, and Sarah Sutton, Matthew Waterhouse. What's her name? The woman who was in Doctor Who Flux playing what? I can't remember her name. Barbara Flynn. She was pretty darn good. And this is their big release, relaunching the Fifth Doctor, essentially, after the main range had imploded, like, just imploded into nothing. It was absolutely awful. What a sad ending to what a real great era of Doctor Who. And, you know, Dig Finish have not been doing very well of late. They've been very, very much... I think trying to appeal to fans that like Twitter, that live on Twitter a lot, that find Twitter very, very important. That's a very small demographic, and I think their sales have gone down. And this is an attempt to go back to basics, or maybe go back to finding a way of finding out who they are again. So I was very excited about this because the main range was just dire, absolutely dire for the last couple of years. And they're very, very much leading into like things that they think traditional fans will like. Not overly successful. One story above average, but not good, and the other story slightly below average, right? So with all the traditional 2020-ish big Finish problems. So is it a recommend? Not really, and I'm sad about that. I'm genuinely sad about that. But you know, look, I'm going to review it. You decide for yourself, right? You decide for yourself. I'll say this: that I don't think this is a first of a two box set release. I don't think I'm going back. I don't know if I'm going back for the second one. So that's pretty bad. That's a pretty bad indictment. Before we get into it, can you hit the like button? Can you hit the share button? Can you hit that subscribe button? Whether you're here or on Rumble, that'd be fan-dabby. Double dozy. Like, share, subscribe, comment. What else? And if you're on YouTube, make sure you're still subscribed. And could you consider hitting the link in the video notes for my Substack, which is an email newsletter. You get notified that all my content goes out on that, but also I put a bunch of other stuff out on that. But comic books, I got the Ice Warriors which are in the store, which are in this set, run every Sunday. I do Sunday comics. It's a fan thing, right? But it's pretty darn good. I did it better than this one, right? Way better, way better than this one, in my own humble opinion. I mean, I did write it, so you know, I am somewhat biased, right? Take that as well. So like, share, subscribe, comment. That's all fantastic. Oh, there's also a paid version of my Substack if you would like to do that. Look, if you would, thank you very much. Fine. Let's have a look at this release, Doctor Who 40. So we can see, looking at the cover, they are going for traditional fan here. We got Telosian, Cybermen, and Ice Warriors. Lots of member bearers. They're giving you. They're trying to attack the traditional fan, right? They don't have stunning and brave trans lesbian bounty hunters from the future being stunning and brave. On the cover, which is a good sign, right? Which is honestly, Big Finish's writing of female characters have been diabolical over the last few years. Absolutely diabolical, because they're just not allowed to be characters. They're just like, oh, they're women, so they must be great, or they must be oppressed, or it's just the sexual politics running through everything. It has made everything bad. So the first story in this really doesn't do that at all. Mostly. First story in this is a direct sequel, direct sequel to Tomb of the Cybermen, and that's where I think it fails, quite frankly. Yeah, we've seen the Fifth Doctor. We've seen most Doctors interact with Doctor Who's past a lot, right? A lot, and this is a very, very close interaction with the past. So it feels a bit, for want of a better word, fan wanky, to do it with the Fifth Doctor. I actually would have said if they did it with the Ninth Doctor, right, which really is very disconnected from the history of Doctor Who, that would have been fantastic. This story would, again, takes place exactly as Tomb of the Cybermen finished, right? So the basic premise of it, the premise is good, and I can't believe I'm not like saying I'm definitely going back to find out how it resolves. The Doctor is in the TARDIS, and then there's time slippage, and he's in the future, right? He's in the future. I think he's just I think he's just regenerated, or reasonably recently regenerated at this time, and he's in the future, and Nissen and Tegan are there, and Adric's dead, right? And he doesn't know that Adric's dead, so that's an interesting juxtaposition of what what's going on. In interesting placed thing to do with this Doctor and this TARDIS crew, and they play that out pretty darn well, right? I think that works well. But anyway, the story starts off on the rocket ship on the way home from Tellus with the same character, with the American captain and the professor. The professor in this one is played by Christopher Timothy, his co-star from All Creatures Great, Great and Small, and Barbara Flynn is in as well. So what? Basically, the plot is there is. Some cybermats get onto the ship, and it doesn't work out so well. But also, there's political machinations from another expedition to uncover the Cybermen that was led by a faction led by Barbara Flynn, and she's involved with this. So essentially, they end up on a tropical planet with which has a all the Cybermen stuff in it that we saw from Tomb of the Cybermen. So it's very, very referential to Tomb of the Cybermen. Not bad little story, right? Not bad little story. But again, the way it just seemed a little bit fan wanky to me. This one is written by Matt Finn. Let's read the blurb on it, right? This is celebrating the Fifth Doctor with stories across his entire timeline. Professor Paris' expedition to the tombs of Tellus was hardly an unmitigated success. The handful of survivors limp home in a spaceship, unaware that the deadly peril from the Cybermen has not yet banished. Is not yet banished. Into the situation stumble the Fifth Doctor, Nissen and Tegan, and they're soon in a deadly fight for their lives. Except that things aren't quite that simple. Something odd is happening, and to the Doctor. He's suddenly in a different part of his own timeline, inhabiting the future self, with no idea of why or how, or how it happened. Who is bouncing him through time, and what can they possibly want? Interesting question. I think it was probably better with the. It was about 5 years ago. They did the Hour at a Time, or I can't remember what it's called, where suddenly the Seventh Doctor found himself with Jamie and or Zoe or something. You had Doctors finding themselves with different companions, and then it turned out it was some kind of plot by the meddling monk, as played by Graham Garden at the time. He was a great meddling monk. So look, honestly, it is not a bad story. Just with all the sound effects being very, very referential to Doctor Who. Fan wanky. I keep saying it over and over again. Very, very fan wanky, but not a bad story, and not a story that's lecturing you, not a story that I feel is aching to tell you a puerile sociological point, right? Which is not what I could say for God of War, which unfortunately is doing exactly that. Now, here's what I would suggest. Firstly, Big Finish lean very heavily into recruiting female writers, right? Which means, they recruited from a very, very small pool of the people they could get from, and they ignored like white men. Don't want them, which meant the quality dropped. So one of the people coming in was Sarah Grochala, and look, here's what I'll say to all these new writers before like you want to comment on what's bothering you in the world, just learn to tell a story. Learn to tell a story with no agenda whatsoever. Just tell a story. That's why the best place to learn how to write is on a soap opera, because you just grind out stories all the time, grinding it. All that. That's Terrence Dicks. Learn how to writing Crossroads, right? You grind and you grind and you grind, and you learn how to tell a story. And I don't think Sarah's done that. And the second thing I would say is, try and be relatable to the audience, which are human beings that live in the Western world. Now, human beings that live in the Western world, the vast majority of them are heterosexual, and the vast majority of them, majority of women like men, and the vast majority of men like women. We don't hate each other. There isn't this war of the sexes that I think Sarah Grochala truly believes is going on, right? It's just not how most people like being married with a spouse, right? And like loving each other and having a family. It's actually, we will do like that, right? It's unattainable for most people. Most people screw it up somehow or another, but most people do like that. You know, Santarans, we pair bond, right? So that's, we don't, women generally speaking don't hate men, right? And men, generally speaking, don't look to subjugate women, which is the entirety of this ridiculous story. So let's read basically the entire 80% of this ridiculous story. The Doctor is still being jolted through his timeline, and has now found himself with Nissa Tegan and Adric in the 9th century Iceland, near a Viking settlement on the edge of a volcano. Yeah, you're not near a Viking settlement. That 1 second, we'll go to that. The settlement whose leader has just found a god in the ice. And also, this hates religion. Oh God, it hates religion in every. And listen, I just want to say to everybody out there: if you're atheist, if you're agnostic, if you're Christian, if you're Muslim, everybody believes in something that's a bit weird. If you're an atheist, you believe in the spontaneous creation of matter, right? You believe that something can appear out of nothing for no discernible reason. That's how you explain the creation of the universe, which is fine. That's your faith. That is your faith, and I'm not going to argue with your leap of faith, right? I think Darwinian evolution is something that's not, people don't really go by, the scientific world doesn't go by. I think it's truncated evolution, which is essentially the X-Men, right? These sudden leaps in evolution, these sudden massive mutations. If you believe in that, that happens naturally, fine, right? I'll give you another example. Let's say you're the first person to land on Mars, right? And you find there a box of Legos. If you find a box of Legos on Mars, you're not going to go, oh, that's a naturally occurring phenomenon, unless you're insane. If you find those box of Legos arranged into a diagram of a human heart, you're not going to say they just kind of fell together. No, you're going to say that somebody did that, right? Unless you're insane. Let's say instead of Legos, you find a perfect working artificial heart. Did that naturally occur? No. Right? No. But let's say you find an actual heart. Oh, no, that just... And then you put that inside, which is an incredibly complex organism, and you put it inside another incredibly complex organism, and put that inside an incredibly complex organism to create a human being or a creature. That happens by chance. Now, if you believe that, that's fine. Okay? That's fine. I'm not going to argue with you, and I'm certainly not going to use Doctor Who as a platform to tell you you're an idiot for believing that. Okay? That's no problem. Please don't use it as a platform to say anybody who doesn't agree with you is also an idiot. We're not. Listen, I will tell you from the inside of being religious. I wasn't brought up religious. This is something I chose when I was around 19, 20 years old. Most of my friends were brought up religious, and most of them do their religious observance because they're brought up doing it, right? It's just they just indoctrinated to do, as most people are indoctrinated to do most things. Most people are indoctrinated to be agnostic in the Western world because that's what the indoctrination is. Fine. It's like just going into open eyes. No one's doing better than the other. So that's basically why am I talking about this instead of Ice Warriors? Because it's so painfully obvious. That's what Sarah Grachala is talking about. Right? That's entirely what it's talking about. The Doctor in this one, Doctor jolted through time and has found himself with Nissa, Tegan, and Adric in the 9th century, near a settlement. The TARDIS crew soon battle with the fearsome ice warriors. There's a lot of life to save, and it's not just of their new friends. The Doctor's about to find his biggest battle of his own conscience. That doesn't really come over that well. Essentially, during the Cyberman one, he does find out bits of his future, which then explain his confusion in the second one. But basically, this is a settlement of all women. The one in charge had 11 kids, and then because she didn't have a son, her husband wanted to divorce her, and because when she said no, he tried to kill her, and then she killed her instead, and they went. Again, this idea that men hate women and women hate men. Stop with it, okay? Stop with it. I really would say if you want to do it, have any sociological commentary, just do it with somebody who has a stable married life with children, right? And that might make them a bit sane. I don't know. But that's essentially what it is. So the Ice Warriors are pretty much incidental in this. They're Yeah, we said everything there is about them already. Yeah, there's not really much to say. The stuff I've been talking about is what the episode is about. Really, nothing to do with the Ice Warriors whatsoever. And so it's a bit of a disappointment. Really, is this a recommend? I've told you everything you need to know. If you want to buy it, you want to buy. How much are they charging for this? 6. So how many episodes is it? I couldn't say. I think the God of War is only a 2-episode one. I think. Let's have a look at the production credits. Does it say how? 3. It's a 3-disc release. Right. So the God of War is only a 2-episode story. 2 episodes too long. Quite frankly, like, what's the point? Leither, what is the point? I was glad it was over. Oh, and also it overran. They're like 35-minute episodes. Just fit yourself into some kind of boundary, okay? I just do that. Do a job. That's what I'm saying. Do a job as a writer. Don't just like scream about whatever's bothering you at the moment, unless you can do it with any talent. Which Sarah, on the evidence of this one, you can't. I'm sorry to say it. So there you go. Bit sad. I did hope they would do better. Am I going to get 40 volume 2? I don't know. Have they said who's the who's writing it? Let's have a look. Tim Foley. Okay, he's not that great, but fine. How many discs? I guess another 3 discs. The Autumn Infinity again. Okay, stop bringing out these monsters that we love to try and get us to buy your bullcrap, which is what this is. Enough is all I can say. Alright, there you go. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe. And ring that little bell. So you're notified when new videos drop.